answer that popped into my mind. So I like to approach that from two different perspectives. One is the parachute system, and then go to a simulated skydive. My system, or a term indigenous to skydivers, this is my skydiving rig. This is a container. These run, believe it or not, about 2,500 new, 1,200 used. The drop zone owner knew that I was looking for one. She gave me an old student. She just gave me one that was an old student rig, which I'm very grateful for. This is comprised of many components. Here's an automatic activation device. The skydiver sets this to 0, and it's important to have it set to 0 because if the skydiver, if this senses that the skydiver is coming down too quickly at a predetermined altitude, it will open automatically. This is an emergency cutaway. If my main chute is not operating, I cut it away and go immediately to the reserve chute. But how do I activate the main chute? With this throwaway device. It's called a throwaway, but you don't throw it away, you keep it. But when you throw this out, it releases a pilot chute, and that pilot chute releases the main chute. So that takes care of the skydiving system. I'll allude to that a little bit more a little later on. Also, a very important element is this altimeter. You have to make sure that the altimeter is set to 0, because how else, if you're at altitude, how else can you make sure that you are at the altitude that it says that you are, unless it's set to 0 at ground level. When you exit an aircraft, it's important that you maintain an arch immediately. So your hands and feet are back, and you try to keep your hands and feet in the same plane, because you don't want one higher than the other, because that could throw you into a spin. You don't want to go into a spin, because when you deploy your main chute, you could put a line twist in your parachute line, so you would have to kick that out so you could operate the parachute. So when you're in an arch position, you're constantly looking at your altimeter. Always altitude awareness. You're constantly looking around you to see if anybody else is near you. So at a predetermined altitude, say 4,500 feet, what you do is you wave off to alert anybody above you that you're about to deploy your chute. The way you do that, you take that throwaway. Well, you don't just reach behind that. Why? Because if you do that, you're out of kilter aerodynamically. So you have to counter that in one swift motion. Do this, grab your pilot chute and throw it out that way. If you threw it out this way, that could really mess you up when that parachute opens, because you're going down at a terrific, you're plummeting at a very high speed. So you deploy your chute, and then the pilot chute opens the main chute, and then you grab your toggles and immediately pull down on the toggles. You check your canopy to make sure that you have a full canopy. If there's anything wrong with it and you can't clear it, you immediately cut away and you deploy your emergency chute. But you're operating your toggle. That's how you steer the chute. Go right, turn left. That's how you land the chute. When you come in for an approach, you come down very quickly. When you're about a few feet above the ground, then you come all the way down. an illustration of how toggles work. I remember one time I jumped and the spot was good, but clouds covered the ground. Well, so we couldn't see where we were. So the clouds lazily opened up, and I'm right about 1,500 feet over these humongous power lines. But my forward speed is being matched by the wind speed. So no problem. I just pull a toggle, go all the way, take a 180, pull up toggle again, land facing the wind. You always face the wind, that's the incoming wind, and very easily land. I landed about a quarter mile from the drop zone, but that was a safe landing. That was a heads up landing. There's a saying in skydiving that's indigenous to skydivers: any landing that you walk away from is good landing. So I've covered the basic elements in skydiving. And skydiving is a very safe sport. The first day we showed up for ground school, the instructor said, "How many of you came to the drop zone by I-10?" We all raised our hands. He said, "Congratulations, you just went through the most dangerous part of the day. When you're skydiving at terminal velocity, you are going faster than the traffic on I-10. But as long as you maintain safety awareness, you're fine. You have to maintain safety awareness from the time you leave the packing area to the time you return to the packing area." That covers the basics of the skydiving container and a skydive. It's Toastmaster.
All right, thank you, Wes, for that prepared speech. And now at this time, we will go to our table topics portion of the meeting. And our table topics master for tonight will be Olivia.
Sorry, didn't realize I was on mute. Good evening, everyone. And Philip, oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Donovan, your hand's raised.
Yeah, is it it's supposed to Wes's evaluation is supposed to be now?
I'm sorry, say it one more time.
Is it Wes's speech evaluation should be now?
No, we'll wait and do it at the end. Carrie's gonna do it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our table topics portion. This is the opportunity when everyone will have an opportunity to participate. Do we have anyone that has a Cinco de Mayo story or something that they would like to tell us that they would like to go first? If not, I will just ask some random questions about our theme, Cinco de Mayo. Okay, that's fine by me. I will start with you, Miss Carrie. Are you there? Can you hear me? Okay. Carrie, one of the most indigenous things to Mexico is its beautiful coastline, and its blue waters look almost as similar to the waters in Maurice's background. Tell me, knowing this fact about Mexico, would it make you want to visit there soon? Why or why not?
Good evening, everyone, and including owner guests. It's beautiful to have you. Thank you so much. Mexico. For
Let
me,
me ask you again.
Hmm?
I'm sorry, want me to ask you again, or did you get the question?
I think I got it.
Okay. Sorry.
Mexico is not very close country to me because Japan is my indigenous country, and it's very, very, very far from Japan. So when I grew up, that country, I didn't hear much about it. I didn't know much about the culture. However, since I came to the United States, I often heard that, especially we living in the South and somewhat close, geographically close to Mexico. For me, Mexico is food because their food is registered as a, I can't remember, the really famous culture, world famous culture.
And you mean the Hispanic culture?
No, the register as a world culture. I'm sorry, I can't remember that. But anyway, it's registered. The food is registered as a culture of world heritage. World heritage. Yes.
Heritage. Okay, okay, okay.
Right,
Gotcha.
right.
Yes.
It must be really good. Unfortunately, I don't have much chance to eat it. And I don't like the America's nice Mexican foods. However, friends, indigenous Mexican friends made that Mexican food. That was so good. It's 100 times better than the Mexican restaurant food in the Mobile. I'm sure it's more localized, Americanized, and changed a lot, but authentic is really good. So Mexico, indigenous, equal food to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My next question, I will just leave open for anyone that would like to answer. Carrie, sorry that I put you on the spot at first, but my next question, for keeping up with our theme of Cinco de Mayo, is what is your favorite Hispanic or Mexican food? Let's see. I don't know whose hand was up first. So whoever hand was first, please go, because I looked down for just a second. Whose hand was up first? Donovan or Wes? I don't know. Whoever can go, go ahead. Unmute yourselves and go.
Go ahead, Russ.
Oh,
Thank you.
oh.
My favorite Mexican food? Tequila. I never had a drink of tequila in my entire life, but I do like Mexican food in general. I like enchiladas, chimichangas. I love chimichangas, but I enjoy Mexican food. Just about any type of Mexican food, but I enjoy the chicken, generally the chicken variety. But there's, in fact, when I go with my cousins, I visit my cousin in Arizona. There was this one place that we go to, and we've been going to there for years. And she loves these topopo salads, and I love them too. And you can get them with chicken or plain. And it's marinated chicken with salad dressing, but I could eat Mexican food every day, all day long, quite frankly. So I enjoy Mexican food. I'm Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Wes. In addition to the food and the lovely coastline, they have some of the most amazing dances ever, not just Mexican, but Hispanic, period, with the salsa dancing and the bachata and the merengue. And I have had the opportunity to learn and dance them for quite some time, all three of the most popular ones. Does anyone else enjoy dancing? And if so, have you ever tried any of the Latin or the Hispanic dances? Who would like to answer that question? Has anyone else ever? I look at Wes, now he's saying, doggone it, I should have answered that one. Yes, we know, Wes, you've done some ballroom dancing. You told us about some of your dancing. Does anybody else? Does anyone else, or at least do you admire the Hispanic or the Latin dances? I think they are so beautiful, so
I can take that.
Go ahead.
Okay, I love watching them dance. They dance. I mean, it's beautiful. It's artistic. It's very high speed and it's energetic and it's wonderful. But I'll share a little story with you guys. I've actually been to Mexico. We went on a cruise to a place called Cozumel, and it's beautiful. It is absolutely, it is beautiful. They have the best snorkeling. If you get a chance to go snorkeling in Cozumel, you should by all means do it. But the thing to understand about Mexico is, okay, in Cozumel, there's the tourist area, okay? And the tourist area is beautiful and it is safe and it is fine. But just outside the tourist area, there's what's called the real Mexico, okay? The real Mexico is a lot different than the tourist Mexico. And I, being a world traveler, because I was in the Navy, I decided to take my wife in a taxi and go to the real Mexico, which was outside the gates of the tourist area. Well, she freaked out because when you get into real Mexico, it is very different. There's people serving food on the side of the road with flies all over it. It's very, I guess, intimidating if you're not. It's sort of like a ghetto type situation, which if you're not familiar with that, it's a little bit scary. And my wife kept freaking out. Let's go back to the ship. Let's go back to the ship. Let's go back to the ship. But Cozumel's beautiful. It's just when you go to a foreign country like Mexico, you need to always understand that there's a tourist Mexico and there's the other Mexico. So just take my advice. Try to stay in the tourist area most of the time and you'll be fine. Venture off in the other area, it might get a little dicey, but that's my 2 cents.
Thank you very much, Woody. And I agree. I went to Cozumel was one of the places that I went to before, and I too ventured off into. But I think I think one of my inner beings is Hispanic, so I felt at home. Yes, it was kind of weird, and to see the ramen noodles being sold as a real dish at the restaurants, and just to see the malls and some of the houses and how they were built and how they looked, it was everything that I had expected it to be. So it was a wonderful opportunity for me. Yes, it is a little sketchy, it is a little iffy, but I just embraced it and went on with it. And I just really, really enjoyed myself. Does anybody else have anything about our thing that they would like to mention? If not, I will do my 2-minute table topic speech on Toastmasters. Mr. West, go ahead.
I simply want to say this. I'm going to the District 77 conference. I'm looking forward to the dancing. And I'm hoping they have rumba, because I love rumba dancing. It's probably my favorite dance is rumba. I love rumba.
I've never learned that one, but I've seen it before, but I've never learned it. Okay, we have a few more minutes, Tyler, not to put you on the spot, but if you would like to tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe where you are, where you're from, and your interest in Toastmaster, you can now, or we can wait till later on. It's up to you.
Sure. Thanks for the invite. It's great being here. Originally born in Raleigh, moved down in the Panhandle area and kind of was born or raised there. And then went to college in Tuscaloosa, and then started an engineering career down here. So that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you, Tyler. We are glad to have you, and thank you for your first icebreaker speech. You did a great job. Thank you for a little background on you, on yourself, and we're glad to have you. I will take the next 2 minutes, Maurice, if you will time me, and I will tell you a little bit about Cinco de Mayo. Number one, first thing about Cinco de Mayo is the definition, and it means the 5th day of May. One thing about the Hispanic language versus the American language is their sentence arrangement. For us, we have the subject, then the verb, or we would have the adjective that goes before the noun. For example, you would say blue car, or normally we would say May the 5th. But for Hispanic, in the Hispanic language, it is just the opposite. So instead of saying May the 5th, they say the 5th of May, and that's the definition of Cinco de Mayo. So like instead of saying a blue beach, they would say the beach of blue, or they would say Playa Azul, which means blue beach or beach blue. So that's one little dynamic about the language. So next is, what is Cinco de Mayo? It is, or the celebration of Cinco de Mayo is a festival of Mexican heritage and pride that celebrates the triumph triumphant victory of the Mexicans over the French in 1862 in the Battle of Puebla, which is a Mexican state. It is not recognized nationally at all. No schools, no governments, no banks, none of these things closed for this day. It is not against popular belief. It is not Mexico's Day of Independence like our 4th of July. September the 16th is the actual Mexico's Day of Independence. How did this Cinco de Mayo become so popular? Well, it was more or less to celebrate the Mexican American culture, and that began a year after the war or the battle was won in 1863. In California, the US is where this celebration began or became popular, never in Mexico. One thing that is odd about it and what helped it gain national popularity was advertisement campaigns done by beer, wine, and tequila companies, and that was in the 1980s. Cinco de Mayo generates beer sales on par with the Super Bowl. So someone took advantage of the opportunity to make some money, and that's why it became a popular holiday in the USA. So we celebrate, or it's more of a cultural thing for us in the US than it is for Mexico. Back to you. Oh, that's me, Table Topics Master. Thank you. I had to turn my heater off. For some reason, I love my little space heater. Okay, that will end our table topics portion, and I will pass the meeting back on to Maurice, our Toastmaster for the evening.
All right, thank you, Olivia, and we'll go right into the evaluation period of the meeting. Our general evaluator is Donovan.
Yes, thank you. Overall, I thought the meeting went well. The first we did, we started around 6:45, but then we had to do a 5-minute recess. The invocation and pledge lasted 5 minutes, which was 6:50 to 6:55. Then we went over the club business, which lasted 8 minutes, 6:55 to 7:03. Then we went over the roles, which lasted 8 minutes. It was 7:03 to 7:10. And then the prepared speech lasted 8 minutes that I calculated. It was 7:10 to 7:18 that lasted. And then for the table topics, the time was 7:18 to 7:43. So overall, it went well. And I think next time we should be more organized and at least start right at 6:45, so we wouldn't have to have a 5-minute recess. Thank you, and back to Maurice. Thank you.
Okay. At this time, we will. We're still in the general evaluation period, but we'll go to Carrie for Wes's speech evaluation.
Good evening, everyone, including owner guests again. With speech, skydiving was very interesting, especially I've never done it before. So I was very curious, was very excited to listen to. Because of the theme of your speech, I particularly focused on your gesture and body language. So you excellent at, let's start the excellent point. You really used a variety of gestures. I like your body language. And especially most of the time, your arms and hands stay on the belt line or above the line, which is really good because that makes you look professional speaker, like a professional speaker. The relaxing, stretching arms during this presentation, they're called the now T position because it's good to relaxing, but it looks just makes you like out of energy or relaxing too much. If you are relaxing too much, audience, we are relaxing too much too. We need some sort of little bit stress, it'll be good, right? So my point is, you're really good. Your hand position was very good. Arm position was very good. Next, you may want to work on, I'd like to make a point. When you show the, I don't know how to call it, but parachute jacket, let me call this parachute jacket. Your face was out of screen. You were presenter, not the jacket what? You were the speaker, you were the presenter. It will be good to show yourself all the time of the presentation. We audience want to see you all the time. You could sit next to the jacket or zoom out to show the entire you and jacket. You may want to work on it. Then two things I like to pick up: eye contact. I give you 5 because you probably focus on the camera, not the screen. You know, when you do the zoom, when you see yourself on the screen, we audience look like a, are you looking at us? That feeling, but you really focus on the camera. So that was good eye contact. Second, comfort level. You look really relaxing, but not again, when you were not relaxing too much. It's a really good level. Comfort level was really good. I gave you 5. This is my evaluation. Back to you.
Okay, I will do the timers report at this time. For Wes's prepared speech, 7 minutes and 9 seconds. For Carrie's table topic, and I realized that she started and was stopped, and she started again, but I did not stop the times. But I got 2:13, so you can subtract maybe 20 seconds from it. Woody's table topic was 1 minute and 51 seconds. Wes's table topic, 1 minute and 3 seconds. Olivia's table topic was 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and Carrie's evaluation of Wes's speech was 2 minutes and 44 seconds. And we'll move on to the all counter and grammarian's report.
Okay, as far as the all counter and grammarian's report, I didn't hear anyone use the word all or any type of word like that. I also didn't notice any grammatical errors, so I think we're doing pretty good. As far as the word of the day, which was indigenous, Olivia used it twice, Wes used it once, and Carrie, I think, used it twice. So we had a pretty good usage of the word indigenous. So overall, I think we did a good job. I really didn't hear any ahs, pauses, or things like that, and I didn't notice any at least glaring grammatical errors. So you guys are doing excellent. So anyway, thank you. I'll return to the evaluator.
Thank you, and that will end the evaluation period. And I will relinquish the lectern back to the Toastmaster, which is me. And then I will present, if there's time for the educational overview, we can do that, or else I'll just relinquish the lectern back to the president.
I think we have 5 minutes. I will make my education overview very small, very quick. And for me, I just want to talk about the importance of wearing a smile. Not only should you wear a smile every day, we talked about last week that sometimes your smile is a result of your joy, but sometimes your only joy is a result of your smile. When you smile, your voice is warmer and friendlier because your vocal cords are pulled differently when you are not smiling. So when you're on a phone conversation, wear a smile. And most definitely in public speaking, wear a smile. But not only is it just a smile, but your speech should encompass, yes, your hand gestures, your words, let's see, you talk about your highs and lows, so your pitches and your vocal variety. But if you really want to make your audience engaged, let your face show your expressions or show your emotions. So if you're scared, look scared. If you're excited, look excited. If you are sad, look sad. All this makes your speech more engaging. So just always remember to let your face show your emotions. And no matter what, whenever possible, always wear a smile. We talked about this a few weeks ago, or at least I did in one of my speeches, and it was talking about helping others. It says, when we help others, we often experience a helper's high. It's a euphoric feeling that helps your mood, calms your mind, and gives you an overall sense of accomplishment and worthiness. So while your smile may help your audience or those that you come in contact with, remember that while you're helping someone else, you're also helping yourself. So remember to wear a smile. Back to you, Toastmaster Maurice.
All right, thank you. At this time, I'd like to relinquish the lectern back to the president.
All right, guys, thank you very much. We had a lovely meeting this evening, I think. I want to remember, keep in mind about our election time is coming up. So